Hello students, welcome to KMPS Educates, and in this video we'll go through the rest of the chapter. So let's begin with where we have left in the last video. So finding out about the past. We have gone through manuscripts, how they help us to know about the past, and now we have inscriptions. So what is inscription? So inscription are the writings on hard surfaces like metals or stones. सो मतलब जो बहुत हार्ड सर्विसेज होते हैं मेटल्स या स्टोन्स उन पे लिखा जाता है, उनको इंस्क्रिप्शंस कहते हैं। और ये बहुत पुराने, बहुत ओल्ड किंग्स लोग, क्वींस लोग लिखा करते थे इंस्क्रिप्शन अपना एक रिकॉर्ड रखने के लिए, या फिर कुछ भी उनको कोई ऑर्डर उनको फॉलो करवाना होता था, या फिर कोई भी राइटिंग उनको जैसे रिकॉर्ड करके रखनी होती, तो दे यूज्ड टू राइट इंस्क्रिप्शन एंड they were used to keep a record of the victories of the kings, and also for displaying any order which was to be followed. So the work of the inscription was to keep a record of the victories, or and if any order which was to be followed by the public, so they were written on the inscription. Now we come on archaeologists. So archaeologists are the people who study the remains of the buildings made of stones and metals. मतलब आर्कियोलॉजिस्ट वो होते हैं जो हमारी पुरानी, जो हमारी साइट्स हैं, लाइक बहुत ओल्ड 1000 years ओल्ड और 2000 years ओल्ड जो बिल्डिंग्स होती हैं, जो मेटल्स होते हैं, उनको स्टडी करते हैं, जो भी उनका रिमेन बचा होता है, क्योंकि पूरी पूरी बिल्डिंग तो वो बची नहीं होती, तो whatever the remain was left, so they studied that remains and they find out about the history or about the past. So they study the old paintings and sculptures. They dig under the surface of earth to find out tools, weapons, pots, etc. They also excavate. Excavate means digging under the surface of the earth, and from there they find the old tools, old weapons which were used in the past by the hunter-gatherers or by the people who used to live in the past. And they also look for the bones of the birds and fishes, and from the bones of the birds and fishes they get to know what people ate in the past and what are their foods. So they also study the paintings and sculptures. They study the very old paintings, like when those paintings were made, and from which color or which material they were made, and which type of brushes used in that painting. And there are lots of things which archaeologists help us to find. And they are made of different substances, but the objects, like all of the like the pots, the weapons, the tools, so they are all made of different objects. But the objects made of hard substances survive more. Hard substances, like if it is made of iron, or say it is made of bronze, it is made of copper, so they survive longer because they don't get destroyed in the nature very fast. So they take a very long time to get destroyed or to become soil in the nature, so they survive more. And I have told you they also study the bones of birds and fishes. Next we have some of the things that archaeologists have found so far. Like, this is an old pot from an old city, and these types of pots were used about 4700 years ago. So you can see that pot, it is well crafted and well designed. People have also made some design on the pots. So from this we can analyze, or we can get to know that people of the past were very creative and they all used these type of beautiful pots. And next we have the old silver coins. These types of coins were used 2500 years ago. So you can look at the shapes of the coins. In at present we use the circular shaped coins, like the 1 rupee coin or 5 rupee coin. It is very circular in shape, and you can see in the past there are no particular shape in the coin. and there is some design made in the coins, and these were used. So these are some of the things which archaeologists have found. So next question is, was there one past or many? You can think about that question. Ki what, like everybody have only one past, or we have I like very different kind of past. So what do you think? Do the humans have one past or more than one? Actually, the past were different for different group of people. Like the lives of farmers were quite different from the kings and queens, and the lives of merchants were quite different from the persons, and there are very different kind of differences, and differences are always there. If we talk about present, so there are a lot of differences like culture differences, language differences. Like in every state we speak different language. If you talk about India, you can see in every state we have a very different language. Like in West Bengal, people speak Bengali languages, and like in Gujarat, people speak Gujarati. In Maharashtra, people speak Marathi. So there are different languages for different state, and with the languages there are different culture, different food, different clothing, and lots of differences. So if we talk about past, differences were there, and if we talk about present, differences are there, and if we will talk about future, differences will be there. So differences can never be or you can say differences will always be there. So the king, like one difference you can say, like kings and queens which were in the past, they used to keep a records of their victories or any important thing or any important event they have arranged or organized. So they used to keep a record, but in the same time the hunter gatherers, or you say the hunters or skill gatherers, they don't keep a record of what they do or what they have done in the past. So this is also a kind of difference. So differences will be always there. You just have to remember that. And that's all. Next is, what do date means? So dates, like you can say what's the date today. So today it is 5 November 2020. So in the past there were also different kinds of dates, or you can say, what if we study about past, so we used to analyze like this was happened 2000 BC. So BC is what? BC is before Christ. So before Christ means when the Christ was born. Christ, before the birth of Christ. Before Christ is before the birth of Christ. If anything has happened, so it was counted as before Christ, like BC, like 500 BC or 200 BC, that 200 years before the birth of Christ. Next we have Anno Domini. Anno Domini is after the birth of Christ. It's like present, like this is 2020. So we have like the year 2020 is running. So 2020 means 2020 years after the birth of Christ. Okay, like we are presently living in the year 2020. So it is 2020 years after the birth of Christ. Next is Common Era. Common Era is also year used for it's also used for dates. And next we have before Common Era. So these are all the short forms which I have given you the full forms of those before present. So like अभी 2020 चल रहा है, तो 2020 से पहले जो भी होगा, like 2017 में, 2002 में, 2003 में जो भी होगा, तो that will be counted as before present. So that's all for this chapter. And thank you so much. I hope you have liked the video, and I'll see you in the next video.